Welcome to the Generation Software quick lesson for Valentine's Day. With this lesson, we are going to do a design that is for a 100 by 100 hoop, and we'll also be working in millimeters. To change those settings in your software, if you just go to View and then View Preferences, within the General tab you can change your measurement unit, and then within the Hoop Original Point tab, this is where you can choose your machine hoop type. I've chosen the 100 by 100 in the Brother Baby Lock, and also make sure Show Hoop is selected. So we'll go ahead and press OK. So what we're going to do with this design, we're actually going to create a heart with our manual punch tools, put a fancy fill in it, put an outline on it, and then add some lettering. So on the right hand side of my screen, I have a tool called Create Heart, and this is on my punch bar. It's a little green heart, so I'm going to left click on it to activate, and when I activate it, my properties come up, and in my properties I am going to leave everything as is except for the color. So let's go ahead and click on the color. I'll click on the three dots, and when I do that, I am able to change the color. I'm going to change it to pink, and I'll press OK. And when I do that, my cursor, when I'm on my design screen, is a crosshair. So in order to draw this heart, I'm going to start in the upper left hand side of my screen and left click hold and drag to the lower right hand side. I'll let go to create the shape, and now I have three control points that I can change. As I move my cursor over the control points, which are the blue dots, my cursor is going to change into an extended crosshair. With that extended crosshair, once I left click, hold, and drag, I can change kind of the shape of the heart. And each control point is going to do something a little bit different. So I can change the control points, and once you're happy with changing the control points to what you like, you can hit enter on your keyboard, and once you hit enter, it will fill in the stitches. Now, I am finished with this tool, so in order to get out of the tool, I'll press the escape button. And with this area highlighted, I'm actually going to change the size of the heart. So I'm going to left click on the heart. I will then go to Edit, and then Resize, and when I resize, I have the ability to change X and Y. Now, the new size, what I'm going to do is with X highlighted, I'm just going to change that to 60, and Y will change automatically because maintain aspect ratio is checkmarked. So when I click over here, it automatically will change for me. So I'll press OK, it resized it, and then I want to generate my stitches to recalculate the stitches. Now we're going to create a fancy fill for this heart. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually choose the heart with a right click, and when we choose it with a right click, it selects the heart itself. And we're going to save this as a stamp pattern. So we'll go up to Accessories, scroll down to Stamp Pattern, and Save Stamp Pattern. When we click Save Stamp Pattern, it will automatically bring our Save Stamp Pattern file up, and I will name this Heart in the file name box. Press OK, and now I've saved that as a pattern. Right now I'm going to turn it to 3D view so we can see the stitching that we currently have, and we're going to see how we can change that. So with that selected, I'll go to Stitch, and then Stitch Settings, which allows me to get to the stitch settings. I can change the fill type to complex fill just by left clicking on it. I change it from auto judge to complex fill, and within the options I'm going to highlight use stamp pattern, and when I check mark that, that will automatically go to my stamp pattern layout dialog box. I'm going to left click on the heart, and now you can see that the hearts are now laid out differently in my layout panel. And within my layout panel, what I can do is I can take each one of these little boxes, highlight, and move them around. This is really neat. Each box does something different. I can rotate the hearts, and this will be the fill that will show on your heart. And if I hit the preview button up on the upper right hand side, you can see how that is going to preview, or I'm sorry, that's how that's going to stitch inside your heart. If you're happy with the layout you can press OK, or you can go in here and you can change that layout as much as you want. You can change the layout on screen, or you can also change the layout numerically over here. I'm going to leave my layout as is because I like it. I'll press OK, and I'll press OK again, and now you can see I've got my little hearts within my big heart. By changing the stitch angle, which is this option right here, it looks like a wand with a green dot over it, and if I move my cursor over the green dot, it turns into a four-way cross. Once I get that four-way cross, I can move that angle, and as I move the angle and then regenerate my stitches on the lower right hand side, it changes the angle. Now my layout hasn't changed of my hearts, but my angle has changed. So it gives it a little bit of a different effect when we are changing the stitch angle. I'm going to move that back up to about a 30-degree stitch angle and regenerate. And regenerate until I'm happy with that. With this selected, we can also create an outline. So while it's selected, with the right click, I will go up to Stitch and then Create Outline from Area Edges. With this outline, I'm going to create a blanket stitch. I'll leave the border on the outside, and the offset is 0 since it will sit right on top of this heart, and then press OK. Now it has created the outline, but we haven't generated stitches yet. Before I generate stitches, I'm going to change the color, so I come down to the bottom right hand side of my screen on my quick bar, left click on color, change it to red, and as soon as I hit OK, it'll automatically regenerate. If it didn't regenerate for you, go ahead and hit the generate button. Now, while this is selected, we can also change the settings of the blanket stitch. I'd like my blanket stitch to actually extend a little bit, so we will then go to Stitch and then Stitch Settings. Blanket stitch is selected, so I'll go to the blanket stitch tab. I'll go to the branch height, and I will actually change it to 2.5. Now remember, we are working in millimeters. I'll press OK, and it makes it a little bit longer, and I like that much. I like it much better this way.